Welcome back, everyone, to the 2023 football season at Dover-Sherborn High School. Bruce Glazer and Dan Bennett and our Dover-Sherborn cable TV crew here at North Searle Field. And Dan, last year in the playoffs, Dover-Sherborn went to Hudson. Oh, a tough game with mud and rain, monsoon-type weather, and the defense of Dover-Sherborn stopped Hudson. Tonight's the rematch.
It's great that they're playing them. I think that Steve Ryan's making a good decision, playing against good teams, out of league teams, and showing what type of ball players he has. And the other thing is the kid who made the most effect in that game was Brian Olson. Well, Michael Polk also, but Brian Olson made some big plays, and he's back, and he certainly looked good against Ashland.
They will miss Robinson on defense, of course, from last year. They will miss Michael Polk, but kids move on to college, and that's what it's all about. You replace them with the same or better kids.
Well, and that's absolutely true. And they've had a lot of talent here the last few years. It's 7 different players in the last 3 years who played at Dover-Sherborn are playing college football. And I think we're going to see a couple kids off this team the same way. I think they're going to go on and play in college. So they've had a lot of talent out there. They've had great coaching, and it's put together, and they've had winning seasons. And I think that's going to happen again.
Just looking at the starters for Dover-Sherborn and O&D, up front will be, the line will be Rogers, Kumalil, Newmarket, the center, Mariano, and Adams. On the left side, wide receivers will be John and Bob Saber. Olson, obviously, on the right. The wingbacks starting out, Kiesling and Richards. On the D, a 4-man front and a 4-man linebacker. Rogers, Zagorianikos, I knew I'd get that somehow. Kumalil and Olson. In the middle, linebackers. Left to right, Olaire, Kiesling, Mariano. Jaffe and Stefanelli will alternate outside linebacker. The DB starting out, Sullivan, backed up by Bob Saber, Richards, and John Saber. And I'll tell you, last year I looked it up. Michael Polk gained 1,400 yards rushing and 16 touchdowns. One guy cannot always replace that, but you got a bunch of guys.
Just as the national anthem's about to start, I didn't want to talk during that, although you let us up.
Agreed. Those were the dulcet tones of the Dover-Sherborn choir. It's funny, you pointed at me, we're going to do the anthem, you signaled me, and I see you go, you got it. Just turn that around. Okay, we got audio problems already. Here you go, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, those headsets can be twisty.
Well, I'm incompetent when it comes to anything mechanical.
Well, we don't usually come on before the anthem, but I wanted tonight because I had some things I wanted to go over, but I forgot about the anthem. Hudson will be kicking off. They're a strong team. They can run, they can pass, and it all leans on Jake Attaway. He started as a freshman. He's now a junior, and now his father is the first-year head coach of this team. So that should be interesting.
Yeah, when you're the son of a coach, and I was, and my son Johnny was, football is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week thing in your house, and it really makes it important to you, and you play hard, I think, because you know it's not just for your team, which is very important, but it's also for your whole family.
Yeah, it is a real team sport, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I apologize. The Raiders are kicking off. I heard it wrong. Good kick, except it's going out of bounds. So that'll give a penalty to Dover-Sherborn and an automatic first down somewhere.
Yeah, up at the 35, and it's Dover-Sherborn. I'm sorry, it's Hudson's choice. They can either give him a 5-yard penalty and force Dover-Sherborn to kick again, or they can take the ball at the 35.
I take it to 35. Good place to start.
I agree.
Our camera this year, we have a brand new camera that will give you score graphics as we go along. So, not tonight though. So that's a preview of what won't happen tonight. But down the road, in some further galaxy, we will bring you live scores on your TV. Just not now.
And the Hudson coaches disagree with us. They're going to kick. They're forcing him back 5 yards and making him kick again.
Yeah, but between you and me, this is his first year. We have a lot more going for us, experience.
Yes.
We'll show him, right?
I hope so, actually.
Jake Attaway is in his third year, as I said. Last year, he was named the Midland Wachusett League C Offensive Player of the Year, League MVP, Metro West Daily All-Star as a sophomore.
Yeah, and that's great. And that's a tough league. That's mostly Central Mass teams, even though Hudson's in Middlesex County, it's mostly Central Mass teams.
First return of the game comes by number 14, and that would be Muse. Muse is a good run back to Dover-Sherborn 40.
Yeah, it shows why he's coaching and we're up here, because it worked out well for him. The tackle over there, Dylan Rogers, he's one of the captains of the team. Very good player. He's been starting now for a couple years. And then Zach Jaffe, who had some good runs in the last game. But his big thing is he's got great speed. He's an indoor track, outdoor track guy. So he's someone important, and he makes big plays like that.
So we start from near hash mark in a shotgun. Quarterback has the ball, drops Attaway running out of trouble if he can from Rogers. Attaway running on his own, back to the line of scrimmage and past it, and about a 5-yard pickup. He ran about 15 across and 5 up.
Yeah, he runs like a fullback. He's the quarterback, but he runs like a fullback, and you're not pulling him down with an arm tackle. You're going to have to get a wrap, your shoulder pads into him, and grab on, and that was the ideal time you could see that.
Evan Bushy is his running back, or is it? No, it looks like he switched to Garrett Giorgio. Quarterback, quick handoff, this time to Bushy. Bushy stopped behind the line of scrimmage. It looks like, yeah, they lost yards.
Yeah, and they got to think about where they're running and where Dover-Sherborn's strong. Running at Brian Olson is not the best decision to make. They had good action in the backfield, but Brian's been starting for 3 years, too, on defense now. But he's a big, strong kid, good speed and good coordination, good basketball player, and as you informed me, good baseball player, too.
Yeah. So from the near hash on the first drive of the game, 3rd and about 6. Attaway drops, rushes on by Olson! He gets away from Olson, gets away from Rogers, and he's running for his life. Up the field, down the field, he goes to the 20. Inside the 20 to the 16, and Olson almost had him, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, they tried to block Brian with just with the left tackle. It didn't work. He got around him. But the quarterback's just such a strong kid. Brian, that's one of those situations where you're better off breaking down and making a tackle than just trying to run at him.
Attaway threw last year for 1,472 yards and 19 touchdowns. He had 131 rushes and 15 rushing touchdowns. So he's your quarterback running back. He's a combination. In the gun. Delayed handoff. Bushy straight ahead but close to a first down. Would you call that shotgun like a T formation?
Well, no, I'd call it shotgun and then two backs in the backfield with the shotgun. The T, you're underneath the center, and you've got three people behind you in the shape of a T.
Okay.
So that's what the difference is. They've sort of got the back of the T, but not the line into the T.
Got to take more English classes.
I wouldn't count on that. That's not why I'm getting it.
Ball at the 8-yard line. They scoot ahead. Not sure how far they got. I'm sorry, the ball was at the 10, and they lost a yard.
Yeah, running up the middle generally against Dover-Sherborn is a bad idea because they love to blitz up the middle. Coach Conrad and Coach Tassoni putting pressure right up the middle. Generally, you do better off tackle and outside.
Big third down play coming up. Quarterback stays in the gun. Standing at his own 15, drops to his left, turns around. Olsen jumps. Olsen in his way, gets away from Olsen. He's running far side, throws a line drive. Nice catch, and out of bounds is Garrett Giorgio for first and goal. Or did he get in?
I think he got in on that one, Bruce. Yeah, I think he did.
How many quarterbacks can throw that ball like that when he's being pursued and gets a line drive to his receiver?
Yeah, not many. And he was open, but not by that much. I mean, that was what looked like a college throw, not just a high school throw. He threaded it in there.
Extra point attempt coming from Gao. Kick. Looks like it went off to the left, or is it good? It's good. Inside the left upright.
Now, one positive here for Dover-Sherborn is they've been winning so much over the last 5 years, and they've come from behind a number of times to win games, that this bad start to this game doesn't put them in a situation where they're down and they're not going to come back. You get teams later in the year who haven't had success as a program, and right off the bat, if something doesn't go right, they get in a down mode and they don't think they can come back, and that's not going to be the truth with these Dover-Sherborn kids.
The biggest problem for Dover-Sherborn that they cannot control is they only had 37 on the team starting out, and you got two injuries, Emilio Cabe with a fractured ankle, and also an injury to Harry Dummer, and they'll be out for a while. So now you're down to 35 players. That's tough.
Yeah, it is, and they're both playing essentially the same type of position, defensive back and receiver. So,
exactly.
And so that makes it even tougher. Okay, here comes Jaffe. He's got a lot of speed.
Jaffe down the left side, up to midfield. Actually spotted at the 45. Good return by Jaffe.
Yeah, he's going to be. You're going to find as the season goes along, he's got the most speed on the team, especially with Emilio being hurt. And I think you're going to see a lot of them out there.
Last week, and he lost to Ashland. The touchdowns were scored by Olsen. He had two of them, both on passes, and the other one by Kiesling. They're in a double wing. Garrett Webb, first shot at the game, got a complete pass left side to Kiesling, inside the 50, about the 49, depending on the spot. 49 it is.
Yeah, Chris Kiesling's come a long way. He sophomore year was backing up some good players at linebacker. Now he's one of the best players on the team. He's getting a shot out there, and they're throwing the ball to him. He's come a long way and he's doing a great job.
Olsen comes wide right. Got a slot, looks like double wing, actually. A pitch. Nice run down close to the 40.
Now, that's a good idea. Get the ball away from the center of the field. Make a situation where you get your best players one-on-one out there. They swung the ball out to Kiesling on that time. I think that they know that Hudson's looking out at Brian Olsen.
Oh, yeah, definitely. By the way, if you've got an older roster for this year, Kiesling is now wearing number 2, home and away, instead of 22. Webb, quick handoff. Coming right side, turning it up the field is Olair. Olair dumps the ball on the ground, and he turns it over.
That's a tough play because they were getting some momentum there. And a turnover like that, turnovers really can make a difference in a game, especially at the high school level. You got to keep them down. You can't turn the ball over more than probably twice a game against a good team like Hudson. So let's hope that this isn't a pattern throughout the football game.
Dover-Sherborn finished 11-1 last year. The visitors finished 9-2. Hudson's 1-0, beating Clinton in their opener, and DS lost at Ashland, and as I referred to earlier. Gadaway does a 360, drops, throws it. Got his man once again, Giorgio, up to the 40-yard line.
Now, I couldn't tell whether or not they were in man or in zone that time. The tackle was made by an inside linebacker, though. So I think that the wide receivers took the defensive back down the field and created that opening. The Dover-Sherborn pass rush has got to contain itself to a certain point. The quarterback keeps rolling out and getting outside the pocket. Once he does that, he's going to run or pass, and you're in a desperate situation.
Yeah, if you over-pursue, he's going to eat you alive. Attaway keeps it. Attaway never wants to go down. He's up close to the 45. Made something out of nothing.
That's true. There was good defense by Dover-Sherborn. They took on the Hudson blockers. They were staying hard on their positions, but he's still breaking tackles.
What a beautiful football evening.
It is, and this is the type of day that my boys used to come here and they'd be playing touch football behind the fence with a lot. Well, it wasn't really touch, but behind the fence with a lot of kids, and that's probably more important for the program than anything else. Having those young boys out there having fun.
Attaway looks left. Olsen stays in his face. He's running right. He loves the right, and he goes down at the 40. No gain. He will favor the right side because he's a right-handed quarterback, and that's his preference, of course.
Right. And Dylan Rogers is out there at defensive end. He's one of the better players on the team, and he does a good job. Dover-Sherborn has two good defensive ends, and they've just got to keep them inside. I'm sure Coach Conrad and Coach Tassoni are saying that to them.
Rogers is a captain, along with Brian Olsen, Garrett Webb, Emilio Cabe, and Chris Kiesling. Olsen, as we mentioned earlier, he's a three-sport athlete. He's also a member of the business club. He's part of the peer ministry, and by the way, he plays trumpet. So I don't think he sleeps. It's optional.
That's a lot more than I ever did, and I'm talking about my lifetime, not just high school.
Brad Crandall standing next to me on camera. He says, yeah, I can agree with that. Me too. Attaway looking on third down. Deep pass just beyond everybody. It'll be a fourth down punting situation.
That actually wasn't bad coverage. He did have a step on him, but it wasn't terrible coverage. He was going to have to put the ball right in there.
Are you seeing zone on pass defense?
I'm seeing a lot of man-to-man with one deep zone.
Okay. The free safety.
The free safety is playing zone where they're playing man-to-man on the receivers.
Excuse me? They got it?
I think they're...
Was I in the wrong? They're going on fourth? Really? Okay. No, quick punt.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
It works for them. Nice roll. Down to the 15. Dover-Sherborn in trouble. Down to the 11. That's where they start out at the 10.5, actually. I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, and I think that it's something that the Raiders aren't used to, where they're lining up and making a punt out of a formation that looks like they're actually going for it.
Last week we saw in Ashland the muddle huddle, they like to call it, where it's hard to describe. Your wings are more like backup tight ends behind the tight ends. Everybody's tight. It looks like a mush. And the tight ends are tight, the wings are tight, and they kind of curl on the ends, and they run the ball darn well. Yeah, they do. And Ashland's a tough team. 3 years ago they were in the Super Bowl and won it for Division 4. So they are a good team. Offside.
Now, that type of offense is only run by a couple teams in this league. Holliston, who's in TVL Large, runs it, but we're not playing Holliston. And Millis runs it a little bit, but it's not their consistent offense. So hopefully the Raiders really won't face that again, because the strength of this team is being able to blitz and cause pressure. And it's very difficult to blitz that offense. There's nowhere to go.
They run outside. They do slants inside. It's very effective for them. Quick handoff. Coming left side is Jaffe. Jaffe can't get the corner turned, and he's stopped for about a line of scrimmage. Back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 15.
He tried to get to the outside, use his speed out there, but the cornerback for Hudson held his ground and cut him off. Now, I think as the game goes along, one of those is going to break and go for big yardage.
Ronan Richards, I mean, he's just almost invisible right now, but I think they've got to get him into this game.
Yeah, he can catch the ball. He's got great speed. He's another one that's fast, and speed's very important.
The ball hits the toes of Olsen, incomplete.
Okay, so now Hudson, and I don't know, because not knowing enough about Hudson, whether number 8 is normally the left cornerback. But to me, he appears to be the tallest kid out there.
That is Attaway.
Yeah, well, he's definitely the best athlete. So you put him out on Olsen, and it makes it a lot tougher to throw it over there because you got two great athletes going at it.
Now you look at Attaway, and I could see a Division I school grabbing him if he maintains this kind of success.
Absolutely.
He's definitely a left DB here. It looks like the lay of game, maybe. Nope, it was a jump by Hudson.
Oh, that's helpful because that's 15 yards is a long way to go. Not that 10 isn't, but it's a lot better situation. You know, a 15, if you run a hook or something like that, a curl, you're probably not getting the first down. Now at 10, you can run them that deep.
3rd down. Webb drops. Protection good. Throws it. Overthrown. Punting situation.
Okay, they only rushed 4. They put 7 back there and just said to Dover-Sherborn, we're going to play 5 people underneath. You try to throw it into our 2 deep coverage. And that's what they tried to do. That's good scouting on Hudson's part, and probably a lot to do with last year's game. They saw what Dover-Sherborn can do throwing the ball, even though it was a monsoon.
If that happened again, would you audibilize and run the ball?
Not in that situation, because that situation, you're not going to get the 10 yards.
Yeah, okay.
But if it's 3rd and 5 or something like that, absolutely.
The odds are more in your favor. Sullivan downs the ball. Hudson in great field position again. They are at the 40-yard line of Dover-Sherborn, and they lead 7-0 with 3:34 to go in quarter number 1. Brad and Cam Crandall are here with us. Drew Hassar as well. No, not Drew Hassar. Sebastian Hassar. Drew graduated last year from the basketball team.
She's a senior.
She's a senior? I messed that one up, huh? But it is Sebastian with us tonight. Look at this kid run. Oh, my gosh, he's so smooth down to the 20-yard line. And that is Evan Bushy. He didn't stop down to 16. It was like nobody could touch him.
They're focused on the quarterback, which they should be, that inside handoff, and they didn't run at Olsen. So they ran towards the right side. And they got it out to a situation where they're off tackle. They're not trying to get around the end. They're trying to get inside the end, but outside that middle blitz that Dover-Sherborn loves to run.
DS with that 4-man front. And they run it right up the middle. Giorgio close to the 10.
Dover-Sherborn didn't come with pressure that time. They were playing their positions, but Hudson still moved them off the ball.
Ball spotted at the 10-yard line on the nose.
I think we're going to see a lot of what Hudson's about here. They're out in double wides. Are they going to run the ball by spreading them out, or are they going to...
The quarterback will keep it. The quarterback weaves his way inside the 5. Touchdown.
Okay. Unfortunately, I saw a lot of what Hudson wants to do there. They put essentially their ends a little bit wide and then put their flankers really wide, spread Dover-Sherborn out, and had the quarterback run them right up the middle. And that puts Dover-Sherborn in a difficult decision. Do you try to put 7 in the box to stop that and play people man-to-man with nothing behind them? Or do you stay with that 6 and have to face that quarterback running right up the middle?
14-0 Hudson. Well, the good news is you've seen what they can do. Now you got to stop.
That's right. That's right. I think it's important that the first time Dover-Sherborn had the ball, they did move it so that they know they can move on this defense. Unfortunately, there was a costly turnover. Dover-Sherborn didn't get down to score. But just because they got a 3-and-out the second time doesn't mean that Dover-Sherborn can't move the ball and get it in the end zone.
And I want to reemphasize, when you graduate 13 seniors, that's about a third of your team, and you got to replace them.
Yeah, that's 100% correct.
And all-stars, too.
Yeah. I mean, that team, if you put that grade together, you know, you got a kid playing at University of Chicago, great run.
Richards up close to midfield. He's past midfield or just at it. What I didn't understand was he let the ball bounce, and I thought that took his momentum away. But no, it didn't. He just roared off with the ball.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great play. He kept his focus on the ball. It did look like, you know, why aren't you catching it in the air and running up? But he made a beautiful run out of it and a nice play.
You were saying Dover-Sherborn graduated 13.
Yeah, you know, graduating 13, and 13 kids, a lot of them who had played and been starters for 2 and 3 years. And that's a lot to come back from, to lose that many kids. And you've got some kids who've never started before who are out there right now.
Webb looks left, ball caught, brought back inside to the 45-yard line. Pass complete to, I didn't catch the number. That would be the pass complete to Kiesling.
All right. So Chris Kiesling, that's a good person to be throwing it to. They're throwing it to the short side of the field. They're not throwing too much to Olson yet, only one time. They're going to have to come back to that at some point.
Back to the line they come. Second and short, a long 3. Twins to the right, and one off to the left. Looking, throwing, far side. Dropped.
Okay, so what Hudson was doing there is on the wide side on Olson and the person in the slot, they're playing up a force on them, right on them, not letting them off the line, and they're playing one deep in a zone, and they're having them shade towards the wide side of the field. That's why you see Dover-Sherborn throwing into the boundary. And you'd be saying, well, why are they throwing the short side of the field? Well, it's the way Hudson's playing it, and they're doing a smart thing.
How do you get them out of that?
By completing a lot of passes over there to Chris Kiesling. That'll get them out of that.
Third and short again. Webb has it. Quick play. Pass complete. Richards brings it up. Does he have the first? Looks close enough. I believe they're saying he does. Yes, it is. First down.
So Dover-Sherborn got in trips that time and threw it to their inside receiver, who would have been on a linebacker in this defense rather than a defensive back.
We are under a minute to go in the quarter. So this probably will be the last play as Webb comes in with the play. Olson going to the right. I said to my wife at the Ashland game, I swear Brian Olson has gotten taller and more muscular if you look at him.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised by more muscular, that's for sure.
Hand off to Olair. Short pickup past the line. Ball looks like it may have come loose. We got another, recovery by Hudson is the first indication. Yep.
Well, there's no way around it. That hurts because they were getting momentum. They were throwing the ball successfully. They had a good strategy going, throwing it into the boundary. You do have to run the ball sometimes, but we got to hold on to the football.
With a young team, does that get into your head?
Normally it does. I just think Dover-Sherborn's had 5 winning seasons in a row. they should be able to come back from this. It's key right now not to give up another touchdown. I know they came back from 3 scores last week. You can't make a living out of that.
Receivers on both sides of the line. They're in a double wing. Looking left, Attaway, air ball in the air, caught by Bushy. Bushy gets away from one. He's finally knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, you've got to make the tackle there. I mean, that's a 4 or 5 yard gain if you make the tackle. If not, you're giving up 8-9 yards.
Funny thing is, their running back against Clinton was a kid named Logan Luge, and he ran the ball a lot. He must be injured or ill because he's not out there, but they have the depth.
Yeah, that's interesting. And, you know, you look at the Hudson sidelines, boy, it looks to me like they got 60 kids. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's what it looks like.
They have 12 water boys. They do a lot. They do have a lot of young people out there, not in uniform or water boys or whatever. So it does look like up to the 40-yard line, and they're just moving at will.
Yeah, the Hudson's got a lot of enthusiasm. They know that Dover-Sherborn knocked them out of the playoffs last year.
That's motivating.
Yeah, that's motivation for them, and you know they're ready to play. Dover-Sherborn's got to get tough with them here, and can't let them just drive down the field.
Coaching staff for the home team: Steve Ryan in his 8th season, assisted by Bob Conrad, Jerome Penn, Zach Conrad, Dave Sullivan, Eric Locchiato, and Mike Tassoni. I finally said it right. Rob Mosher and Alex Olmstead. George Webb is also out there. He's the president of the Gridiron Club. And the head coach, Zach Attaway, first-year head coach for Hudson. You got a father named Zach and a son named Jake. You got to play football.
Oh, absolutely. Those are football names, no doubt about it.
DS has a road game next Thursday at Sharon, a week from this one. They'll play Sharon on the road at Sharon High School, and Sharon's got an outstanding running back in Gabe Korn, and they won their first game decidedly.
Yeah, now Dover-Sherborn Weston dropped Dover-Sherborn.
Is that what happened?
Weston hadn't beaten them in a decade.
Yeah.
And they dropped them. But what it does do is it puts Dover-Sherborn in a situation where they're playing tough teams early, which is good for you, but you got to be ready to play them.
Yeah, it's tougher to build momentum against those tough teams. And yeah, exactly, like you said. Spin around, staying with the ball is Giorgio, close to a first down. Inbounds, they're going to spot it and see. It's a first down. So then the Raiders come back here on Friday the 29th after that September 21 game at Sharon. The Dedham Marauders? Yeah, Dedham Marauders come in here at 6:30 for their first division game of the season. But their 4th game of the season.
Yeah, and I'm wishing it wasn't Dedham so early in the season.
Yeah,
Dedham has a great team this year, and the coaches must have known it at Dedham because they scheduled Wellesley. Wellesley's a Division II team, Bay State large, great tradition, made the playoffs last year, and Dedham took it to them. So that's a little frightening when you're looking at it from Dover-Sherborn's side. I wish they, I'm not putting down any other program they're playing, but that's a tough one to start in the league with when you've got 3 good opponents out of the league to start with.
Back to center they come. Edie is their center. Hadaway waiting, got a man in motion the way he wants it. Now he hands off to Luge. Luge into the aim. Luge won't go down. He's still up. Finally, the entire squad of blue shirts tries to knock him down, but he has some good blockers out there in white.
Yeah, he did. They created a pretty large hole for him. And then Dover-Sherborn, this isn't criticism of the kids, but Dover-Sherborn's got to get underneath, get their shoulder pads on these backs and wrap. It's not going to do any good if they're just reaching out to grab these backs because they're just too tough to bring down that way.
Logan Luge is wearing these green lime sneakers. I've never seen that in a football game, but he's easily identifiable.
Well, that's good for up here, that's for sure.
That's for sure, especially when the sun goes down even further. Ball's on the 10. They're not in first and goal range from the near hash. Attaway, quick handoff. Coming right. I think that's Luge again. No, that is actually Giorgio on the carry.
Now, that was a good defensive play for Dover-Sherborn. That's what they've got to do. They stood their ground. They played hard. They didn't let them get outside. And their tackling was good on that play.
2nd and 10. Attaway back to the huddle.
Dylan Rogers made that tackle. He's another track captain.
Luge. Behind his quarterback. At a slant. Attaway long count. Claps the hands. Has the ball. Throws quickly. It's knocked away. I think it was tipped by Olsen, maybe?
Yeah, and that's great. That Brian doing a good job getting his hands up, good reaction. That's a basketball player right there, and knocked that down. Now Dover-Sherborn's in a great position to stop them down here, and that will really turn the momentum around.
Luge has a green fanny pack that matches his sneakers. He's really coordinated. Give him credit for that.
Absolutely. You've never seen me with coordinated clothes.
No comments. I think he's advertising the Air Force, maybe. It says AF on the back.
Well, there you go.
What the heck? Not a bad idea. Near hash mark. They got guy in motion. Finally, everybody's settled. Now somebody else goes in motion. Running to the right. Turning it back up.
Okay.
Inbound still. No touchdown.
No touchdown. This is the big down here. They ran that. I don't know if that back number 3 has been in there before.
No, he hasn't. That's Torres. He just came in for the first time.
Yeah, he was very quick around there. So now I think third. What is it from here? The ball's on the what?
7, it says over there on the scoreboard. Let's see. Yeah, I'm looking at the monitor. It is about the 7, yeah. Just inside, maybe.
Oh, this will be a big stop for them.
Well, it's 4th down. Yeah.
Yes.
So, we'll see. As you said, they got to stop him here. You don't want to go down by 3. Timeout? Somebody.
Yeah, Dover-Sherborn. I don't know. They had number 12 there wide to the left side, so it was going to be man-to-man coverage over there. And I wonder if they were concerned that that wasn't the defense to be in this close to the goal line, where a slant, if you get a slant for 7 yards, you're giving up a touchdown.
So, Johnny Bennett is playing football down
at Carnegie Mellon, the same place that Matt Darren is. We got 2 kids from Dover-Sherborn playing down there, and they're both enjoying it. It's a very intense program. They're in the top 15 in the country for Division III, and they won a ways in the playoffs last year, losing to the eventual national championship. And he's getting a real taste of college football and the complexity of college football, and I think so is Matt.
I noticed in their team picture, Johnny was wearing 22. So was the guy next to him.
Well, that's how big the program is.
Really?
They have 117 kids playing. So a lot of them have, there's a lot of double numbers out there. And what they do is 22 is a linebacker on defense. They're never on the field at the same time.
Okay, yeah.
But that's how they do it. And there's a lot of positions. There's 17 wide receivers for 3 positions.
Excuse me?
That's the type of depth they have. They recruited 35 guys last year.
Do they dress them all?
At home games. They dress them all at home games.
So we're still looking at 4th and goal, aren't we?
We are.
4th and 7. So maybe it is 4th and goal. Now Hudson wants a timeout. This is where you want a commercial break, but you don't get one.
No. So Hudson was running a different offense out there. They had a slot on the wide side to the left, and I think they came out and saw how Dover-Sherborn was playing it and realized the play they had called was not going to work.
This is a cat and mouse game.
It really is. The teams probably did a good job scouting each other. Usually you're trading films. It makes it easier for for both teams so that you don't have to send one of your coaches away to do the scouting, one or two. In the old days, a long time ago, when I was coaching the first time, every Saturday, if we played on Friday night, or every Friday night if we're playing on Saturday, I'd be at another high school scouting, and so would the other coaches, because we didn't trade films in those days.
What if you both were playing Friday night?
If we both played, some coach didn't get to be at the game.
Okay.
He had to go and scout.
4th and goal for the 3rd time. Hadaway claps, looks left, throws left, man open. Is he in? I believe so. Nope.
No. All right.
Short.
Good. I don't
He
mean to
was
be
about a
cheering
yard
up here.
short.
Don't to be cheering out here, but that's a big stop.
It certainly
That's
is.
a big stop for
And he
Dover-Sherborn.
caught the ball and did not lean over because he was pushed back.
Yeah, they did a good job on that. That's a mistake by the Hudson player, and I'm not trying to be critical of the kids. Both teams are playing hard, doing a good job, but you got to run that ball into. You got to run your pass pattern into the end zone in that situation. It's 4th down.
And when he, go ahead.
If you run it, that's what is liable to happen. You could catch the ball and be stopped outside the goal line.
His weight was not carrying him in the right direction. He was going back towards the middle of the field when he caught the ball. He wasn't going forward. And like you said, he's got to lead the ball. Pass, incomplete, 2nd down.
Okay. That time, Hudson was making a difference. They were blitzing up the middle. They were playing man-to-man all across the field. I think that they looked at Dover-Sherborn, seeing Dover-Sherborn on their 1 or 2, and figured they're not going to try to throw out of here, throw out of the end zone and take the chance on the safety. But they were wrong. Steve Ryan's a gambler a lot of times, and it has paid off for him over the years, not being afraid to take those chances.
Dover-Sherborn huddles in the end zone. Now they come back to the line.
Now they're back in Hudson's back in their regular defense. They actually are playing 2 deep. And by that I mean the number 2, not...
Pitch. Turning it up is Richards. Richards, after a short gain, gets pummeled by 4 or 5 white shirts.
And I think you'll see Hudson again in the 2 deep coverage, playing zone over the top and man-to-man underneath on their corners and on the slot.
Hudson brought a good cheering section from up 495. Parents and friends supporting their team off to our right.
It's a really, I've had a lot of work up there, and it's a really nice town. And very supportive of their sports programs and a lot of pride.
It was a manufacturing town, right?
That's right. It was. And it was a little bit of a rough town a number of years ago.
I remember this, yes.
But now it's really turned into a nice suburban town with some obviously tough kids.
Dropping back is Webb. Throws a line drive. Got his receiver, and he's got a 1st down.
That's a great play. That's a good throw.
Kiesler on the catch.
Yeah.
Kiesling on the catch. Getting back to Hudson, we went there over the summer to the military museum up there. Then we went out to dinner afterwards. They've rebuilt that downtown. It's beautiful.
It is. It's really nice now. There was, it had a down period like a lot of New England towns did after the mills closed up, but it has come back.
Nice shops, restaurants. Get back to the game. Running right side. I believe that was Jaffe flipped over. At the 35.
Sorry.
No.
That's a good gain, and that's a good play. Hudson's used to looking at him, throwing the ball every play. You cross him up with that. Now you're in a great position to throw again because it's 2nd and 1. If you throw an incomplete, you can come right back and run the ball and get that 1st down. And the way Steve Ryan plays, he goes for it a lot in 4th. So you really have a couple downs here.
5:55 to go in the first half. Dover-Sherborn down by 2 scores. Webb changing something at the line or calling something out. Long count. Fake handoff, left side to... Doesn't matter. He stopped and pushed back. And that could be a late hit, maybe. No flag. No flag. Was that Jaffe again? I can't tell the... It's number 2. It's Kiesling, yeah. This is when we terribly dislike the numbering system of Dover-Sherborn because the blue on blue with the white trim down there doesn't really stand out at that far end of the field. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it.
No. I understand what you're saying.
Because you slot me on this side, you can't even see his number.
That's a good run.
Very
Important.
nice, yes. Move the chains.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go with something my father said is the Natick High School coach for a long time. It's that quickness for the first 4 or 5 steps that matter the most for a running back. The game is played within 4 yards in a lot of ways, and that's what Jaffe's giving him right now. He hit that hole very quickly and very hard.
I think he's gaining confidence as the more handoffs he gets, the more touches. And as soon as he gets the ball, down goes the receiver. Short gain possibly about a yard. Second and about 6.5, 7.
Yeah, once again thrown into the boundary here, looking for Kiesling. They're playing 7-8 yards off of Kiesling. They're giving up. They know they're playing their whole coverage towards Olsen. And the cornerback on the right side on Kiesling has to give him some room because he has no support behind him.
I was just looking at that. I see exactly what you're saying. The free safety is drifting over towards Olsen to double up.
That's right. And they're not going to be, they're not going to just be beat by Brian Olsen. They're making other players make plays. Now, Dover-Sherborn's moving the ball, so other players are making plays. Now, we'll see if it comes back now and they try to throw it to Chris Kiesling again on the short side here.
From the near hash, 3rd down, 7. Huge play. Motion by Kiesling. Running to the right. Webb jumps up. He's got his pass complete to Richards. Richards past midfield. Down to the 40. Richards stays in bounds. And they finally toss him out inside the 40.
That was a great play. Hudson blitzed from the wide side, trying to put pressure on there. It became man-to-man, and Webb made a really good pass.
And that's another thing you can do. Use your wing back and make them think about that versus Olsen, for example.
Right. They haven't had their quarterback out there on defense on this series. I'm not really sure why. They took him off, give him a break, or for some other reason. He's standing right in front of us, though. He's not out there playing on Olsen.
I was hoping he went back on the bus, but that's too much to hope for.
Yeah.
Quick opener. That might be Richards again. I can't tell. Let's get him up to the 35. That's Jaffe on the carry. I should watch the monitor. You got this great zoom. I don't have a zoom in my head, but your zooming is great. I should probably just ignore the field and watch the monitor. Pressure on you now. We are on the visitor's side. You can see the press box across the field. Newmarker on the ball. Snaps to Webb. Left side. Kiesling! Nice coverage, and the ball's incomplete. Very nice coverage.
Yeah, and Kiesling probably has 6 or 7 inches on that cornerback.
Yeah, Torres.
Torres.
He's small.
Played a good defensive play. Stay right with him.
He's small, but he has the speed to keep up with him.
Essentially, that was the pass they usually throw to Brian Olsen, but the way Hudson's playing their defense, they're throwing the ball to Kiesling instead. He's got the same type of height advantage.
I see we have a nice number of viewers watching. We appreciate that. No matter where you're watching from, over center is the quarterback, Webb. Fakes, looks, throws.
He's got
his man open. That would be, I think, Richards. That will be a 38-yard touchdown pass. That's the way you get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and that's a big score. Getting there before halftime after stopping them down there And after a situation, that was a 98 or 99-yard drive.
99, yeah.
Yeah, and you know that's pretty impressive.
So the extra point attempt is by Olier. Flag looks like a defensive flag. Everybody's pointing fingers. Illegal substitution or too many men?
Well, I think it's too many men on the field.
Okay.
And once they got in their set positions, then you can call it.
Well, once they got in their set positions, it was too late to change it, too.
Yeah, that's right. So now they're gonna. It's a 1.5 yards to get the 2-point conversion. Looks like unless they're faking the kick, it looks like they're staying with it.
All right, the kicker is Wang, I believe. Never seen him kick before. Yes, and it's good. Tyler Wang with the kick. He's a senior, 5'8", 160, and that's his first point of his career at Dover-Sherborn varsity. Best football, not basketball.
Yeah, well, no, that's congratulations to him. That was a nice kick. Well put down for him, placed, and a good snap, and all the elements of getting the ball through the uprights.
It's also taking some pressure off Ronan Richards, who was kicking everything in the world last year.
Yeah, and the other good thing about that is if Richards is tired, if Richards has had that pressure on him, he's going to get a break on the sidelines.
That's the tough part when you only have 35, 37 players. You can't afford an injury, and you can't afford to overplay somebody either. But it's tough not to.
Right. And Steve Ryan does a great job with that as far as he tries to play as many kids as he can to give some of the kids a rest. On the kickoff team, you don't see a lot of the starters out there. You see some of the younger players, and it's good for them. It keeps the enthusiasm up when kids know they're going to get in the game on Friday night or Thursday night, I guess.
Wang will kick off. Decent kick inside the 15. Runner comes back with it. Number 14, that would be Muse. That's Muse's second return. Trevon makes another nice return up past the 35-yard line. Treson Muse, actually. Or Tresson. Potato. Ball spotted at the 35. First down. And you got to stop them. 2:27 to go in the half. 14-7 Hudson. Good first half. Dover-Sherborn showing the spirit to come back after two early fumbles.
Yeah, and they've been moving the ball the whole game, except for one drive. They've moved the ball down the field. Now, Hudson's been moving the ball too, but they did stop him inside the 10.
Attaway with the football. Up over the middle. Complete and dropped. Intended for Newton Clark. He couldn't hold on, but he was open.
He was open, and Dover-Sherborn playing a lot of man-to-man back there. That was Sullivan. Daniel is his older brother who played quarterback here for a couple years. Then went to St. Paul's.
How long ago was that?
Ronan Sullivan. That was the year, Johnny's senior year. When they went 9-2. He did an excellent job, but then went to private school.
Happens sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Nice run to the right side. And nice blocking. What nice, perfect blocking. He waited calmly Attaway, and he let his blockers lead him and just went with them.
Now, he has to come off the field. His helmet came off. You have to come off the field for one play, or you have to use a timeout.
I'd use the timeout. Well, I got 2:10 to go. They don't want to use a timeout. So they're putting Torres, the shortest player on the field, maybe the quarterback? Or is it number 5?
Number 5.
Okay. His name is, I talked to his father today. He was so proud of me. Nanatovic. No, wait a minute. Yeah, I got it.
I think you're going to see a running play here right up the middle.
Oh, yeah. Handoff. Slant to the right. Giorgio for a nice gain down to the 40-yard line. And thank you very much for running that play. Off you go. He's listed as a tight end. I don't remember tight end quarterbacking a football game.
Neither do I. I can't remember it in any game I've watched where the tight end switches into play quarterback.
Yates is off to the left. Torres at the slot. Giorgio to the right, along with Newton Clark. And a run by the quarterback. Speaking of slants, he slants, turns it up the sideline, turns it into the end zone.
I hope Hudson doesn't take that idea into the second half, because every time the quarterback runs with the ball, they're picking up 5 yards. And on that play, they picked up a lot more than 5. We're better off if Hudson tries to throw the ball down the field. They may complete some passes, but if they throw incompletes, we got a shot. Now, there's plenty of time for Dover-Sherborn to come back and get a score of their own.
1:10 to go in the half.
And I believe the DS still has 2 timeouts left.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
I think Coach Conrad called one on defense on that play that was down inside the 10.
Gow with the extra point. Looks smooth. Is smooth. 21-7. Hudson is the score. That's the second touchdown for Attaway.
Obviously, I'm calling the game. I'm a lifelong Dover-Sherborn supporter and proud of the organization we've built here. But you've got to look at that quarterback Attaway and say, what a player. What a player. He's running hard. He's making throws. He's getting out of trouble. So far, I'd have to say he's been the difference in the game. And that's not saying Garrett Webb hasn't played very well. He has, but Attaway's just been fantastic.
He's got 2 touchdowns and a total of 62 yards just on the touchdowns. With what we've seen in the first half, he's got close to 100 yards running already.
I think he does. He's very hard for Dover-Sherborn to tackle. Every time he doesn't run with the ball, we should be thanking Hudson.
You thank him.
Yeah.
Gow into the ball. Kicks a ground ball. Up back gets it. Returns it close to midfield to the 45. And down he goes at the 47. That'll be 1st and 10 on the turn by Olayer. And the coach is not happy with his kicker.
Well, I think that they were trying to – Dover-Sherborn's had some good returns. I don't think they wanted to kick it deep. But doing that with 1:05 puts Dover-Sherborn in a position where they can go down and score. If they had trapped DS down by the 20-25, it'd be a lot different story here going into half.
He didn't want an end zone kick, but he wanted something down by the 20.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So we're looking at 1:05 in the half with 2 timeouts to go. Timeout. Timeout White. Hudson with this second timeout.
I think it's interesting they've taken the quarterback off the field on defense. They started out with him playing Brian Olsen, and now they've got him off the field. I don't know what the strategy there is. It was making it very difficult for Brian to get the ball. He looks like he's over in the huddle wanting to get back on the field.
He's not as tall, but he's got the size to play with Olsen.
He does. He's the size and the strength. He's probably just a great natural athlete, but probably worked hard in the weight room to get him to be that type of player that he is.
He's got a year to go, too. I'm sure he's being scouted. He's a junior. But he last year he played like a senior. This year he plays like a senior.
Yeah.
Imagine senior year.
And now they do have him back out there, and they look like they're playing him at deep safety. And I apologize if he was out at deep safety. I was looking for him at cornerback before. And they've got him one deep. They're playing man-to-man underneath on everybody, and they're shading him towards Olsen. They don't want to give up that long pass again.
Webb looks, throws it exactly to the wrong man. Torres, the speedster, down the near sideline, and goes into the end zone.
Yeah. It looked to me like he was throwing a slant, running a slant pass. He either threw it significantly behind him, or he thought that Chris Kiesling was going to turn up and run a curl or a hook. Dover-Sherborn, And of course, I'm looking at it as a person from Sherborn. They've been able to play with them, but these turnovers have absolutely killed them.
That's 3 in the first half, and the
Three in
extra
the
point
first half.
is good.
Yeah, you cannot beat a team with 3 turnovers in one half.
And don't quote me on this, but I believe each turnover has led to a score.
I think you're right. I think you're right. And 2 have killed drives, and 1 there, they had the ball at approximately midfield. It wasn't a drive. It was still first down, but they did have the ball at midfield.
Mm-hmm. We hope to have George Webb, one of the coaches for Dover-Sherborn, come over here at halftime and give us a breakdown of what happened. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got positive things because they are doing some very positive things, particularly on offense. See, now they're kicking it deep, and they're going to take a chance on this.
Rich is the returner. Richards comes this way, running up the near side. Deeks past 1.
Good
now
play.
2 shirts, 3 shirts, 4 shirts of white. Put him out of bounds into the Hudson bench.
Okay, so that's a good return, and that's why they were scared last time to kick it deep. They're not doing a good job on kick coverage. It's one of the few things they're not doing a good job on. They're doing a good job on practically everything else, and that's what I mean. Hudson's doing a good job on practically everything else. It's a return out to, looks like the 42. That's great field position. I think you're going to see him throw the ball deep to Brian Olson right now. He's very wide out there. He's trying to separate himself.
He's on the top side of the screen all by himself. Webb running that way. Throws on the run. Dropped.
Yeah.
35 seconds to go in the half.
They had Olson short, and they were running somebody out behind him, running the deep pattern. And I think they thought, hey, they'll pull up on Brian Olson because they know how dangerous he is, and we'll get something past him.
From the near hash. Moving people around.
Yeah, they got to get set here. You can't have 2 people in motion at the time of the snap.
I was wondering, where's somebody at the top of the screen? Now they got him. Oh, boy. Your wide receiver just jumped.
Okay, so what Dover-Sherborn was doing there was smart until that mistake happened. They took Brian Olson, and instead of just putting him where they've put him all game and where Hudson's used to seeing him, they put him in as on trips on the right-hand side. They put him as the inside receiver. You got to believe they're trying to throw the ball down the middle and screw up the Hudson coverage.
I lost Olson. I couldn't find him.
Yeah, and that's what they were hoping, the same thing for Hudson, that they'd lose him.
Second down and about 15 on the penalty. Webb back to the huddle. 35 ticks to go until halftime. Bruce Glazer and Dan Bennett here at Dover-Sherborn High School, where Hudson has dominated the first half, mainly with the help of 3 turnovers by the Raiders.
Okay, now they get Olson back out, that split. I think you're going to see the ball go deep here to him. I know that's not been their weapon so far, but
Kiesling, no! Richards one-handed it but couldn't pull it in.
Yeah, it was a good try. He really put himself out there. You got to have a lot of guts. You don't know where you're going to be hit from the inside. Got to give him a lot of credit for that. And that was a good pass by Garrett Webb. He was trying to put it in to a very short space, and that's not easy for a high school quarterback, particularly down the middle of the field where you don't know where the safety's going to be.
You just saw a nice shot of the crowd, the student crowd on the far side. Parents on the other side of the press box. 26 seconds to go. They're going to run it and see if they want to use a timeout.
I think they're letting the half run out. I don't think they want to give Hudson another shot at it before halftime.
With 9 seconds to go, no one's going to call a timeout here. So we will go to the break. George Webb has a long run. I guess we'll wait for him.
Right. Well, we'll see what type of condition George is in. Has he been working out?
Well, the thing is, we could go to break and tell him, sorry, George, too late. Brad's going, no, we can't do that.
Well, here comes George. I can see him.
Oh, I thought he's going around the field.
No, he's coming straight through.
I don't think that's exactly running, is it?
No.
Where's his headset? Cam has it, okay.
Do you want me to get off?
No. We got a third headset for him.
Okay.
That's a great idea. We could do it right down there in front of the fence.
Chime in too.
What? Say again?
You got to chime in too.
Hey, George. How are you?
Good. George, it's good to see you. There's some positive things out there. I know it's be tough right now on defense, but you guys are moving the ball with the passing game.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you take a look at the first half here, it's hard to get excited about it being down 28-7. But I think you're right, Dan. First half, 3 turnovers, right? Two fumbles and an interception. It's going to lead to points, and no coincidence, we're down 3 scores.
Right.
28-7.
Yeah. No, you get the ball to start off in the second half. Do you think they'll be going back to the passing game, or do you think that Steve's going to try to run the ball?
Well, I mean, I think we got a good offense, and quarterback plays were really strong, as you know. I can say that. That's my guy.
Well, it's the truth, though. It's the truth.
And he's, he was good last year, had a great season, and he's improved even since. So he's throwing a strong ball, and I think we got to go to the air. A high school football game, a half isn't that long. So to score, 3 times in a half, we got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, there's been a couple times where Dover-Sherborn's come back from 3 scores down. There was one back against Middleborough where they came back from 4 scores down. But the crucial thing here is Dover-Sherborn can throw the ball, and incomplete passes stop the clock, so it's not like they have to grind it out.
No, I think that's right. And it's not just, it's a good passing offense, but Zach Jaffe, his really second year playing football, unbelievably fast, and he almost broke one on the kickoff. And I think you might see a few more of those. He's just come so close to a huge gain a couple of times now.
I think you're absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry. I think you're absolutely right. He's a sub-7 second sprinter in the 55 indoors, and that's really sort of the mark of a kid with speed, is being under 7 seconds, and he is.
He's fast, and he's got, some kids don't like, might be great athletes on track or whatever it is, but don't like the contact of football. Second year, he's really taken to the sport, likes the contact, and he's doing what typically runners do when they first start to play the game, and you've coached for a long time, Dan. They go for the open space, right? And there's a lot of east-west running, and we've coached him, and now he's hitting the holes hard. And he's got an extra gear, so if he can get to that secondary, that's a double punch we got in the offense, as well as two good receivers.
We know that Emilio Cabey will be out, till late October anyways?
Right, yeah.
And what's the story on Harry Dummer?
Harry's looking pretty good. I think that was just a strain, and he's probably a week or 2 away from coming back.
Because when you get him back, you've got more depth and a much more advanced starter.
That's a good point, Bruce, because we've had, we started the season without our 2 starting corners that we had in camp, right? And two good corners. So we've had to go next man up, a little bit deeper on the bench. And when you go to the underclassmen, they just haven't had as many reps. So doing a good job. But, the difference between, a senior and a sophomore, a senior and a junior, is meaningful at this level.
What do you guys talk about when you see Jake Attaway do what he does on the field like that?
What an athlete. I mean, It's just unbelievable. I hate that he's doing it to us, but it's beautiful to see somebody play like that.
Just smooth all the way.
Yeah. Yeah, there's another guy who used to run like that we had on the team a couple of years ago. He's out at Carnegie Mellon now.
Matt Darren. Wow. I don't even remember him running.
No, Johnny Bennett.
Yeah.
So, for sure.
What changes do you foresee for the second half that you can give us right now?
Yeah, I mean, pretty clearly the D has to tighten up a little bit, right? That's the big thing is hold him, and it's not easy. Attaway's such a great runner, both through the he's good, he's dangerous in the air and he's dangerous on the ground. So we got to figure out a way to shut him down. if we can, and get the balls back to our offense. If we can do that, we have confidence that our offense can go in and we can score 3. We feel pretty good about that. So,
I think what's encouraging is your special teams have been excellent. You don't want to have a lot of kickoff returns, but when they've kicked it to you, you guys have returned it, and it looks like it's almost broken a couple times.
It has. Yeah, Jaffe had that one where he almost took it all the way to the house on the far sideline. And Ronan Richards is a heck of an athlete, and he's been fielding a lot of the kickoffs. And you've seen him had 2 nice returns tonight, and he's got an extra gear, so he was very close to breaking one too.
It doesn't seem like the pass rush has affected you too much, and that's a lot to do with Garrett getting rid of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think Garrett's got that quick drop. He's been reading the defenses really well. He's got good receivers around him. The backs are good, and the line. We don't have the same line that we had last year. Those guys were really extraordinary, but it's a good line, and they've kept him clean. All throughout the scrimmages and the first game and a half in the season. So he's getting time.
Yeah, I think that's great. I don't think last week was really a good indication of how good you guys can be because of the offense that Ashley runs. That's not what you're going to see during the year, and you move the ball against them. This week, you're just facing an extraordinary athlete, and you've made some mistakes.
Well, that's it, and we knew Attaway was going to be tough. We played these guys in the round of 8 last year, and they were picked to go to the Super Bowl to play North Reading. So a very, very good team under Attaway. We were fortunate we got by him last year, but I think you're right on that, Dan.
Yeah. Now the ball hasn't gone to Brian Olsen much in this game. Is that because of the coverage, you think, of Hudson, or is there some other reason?
Yeah, they get a big kid on Olsen, and I think he's managed to neutralize him. And Brian's always dangerous. You throw him a 50-50 ball, and it's not a 50-50 ball.
Can you put him in the backfield and just shake things up?
As a running back?
No, but as a more like a wing back. Can you do something like that to throw it off a little bit?
Yeah, we'll see what Coach Ryan comes out in the second half. Yeah. So we got to shake the guy they have on him if we can and get a mismatch. Chris Kiesling's having a nice game, and Chris is just a warrior. Really good on defense, and his speed's picked up on the offseason, so he's been really effective in the passing game tonight. When they're trying to take Brian away from us.
Yeah, and he's had some good catches. And actually, going with what Bruce said, it looked to me like Coach Ryan put them in trips one time and did put Brian in as a wing, trying to get the ball downfield. So it looked like that's exactly what Coach Ryan was trying to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to let you go, and we want to see you run across the field. Nonstop.
I would, but a little banged up this week. We'll see what I can do.
Well, maybe in 2 weeks.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, George. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming over,
Hopefully
George.
we'll have a little bit better second half here.
Yep.
I'm sure we will.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Let's take a momentary pause. We'll come back with the second half of this game momentarily. This is Dover-Sherborn Cable TV.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid's solo?
Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
My kid heard! No!
Say it like it.
Oh, you gotta tell me about that.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 230,000 participants here in Massachusetts who take part in high school sports.
Jan Bennett to my left. I'm Bruce Glazer. Brad Crandall on camera, and Cam Crandall doing everything down in the bottom, producing this game. And Sebastian Hassar across the field doing Instagram. Dan, Diaz came out pretty late at the end of halftime to start the second half.
Yeah, I'm sure there was it was put to the young men that they had not played a good first half. And I think that was expressed. Now, this is something they've done well all game, which is return kicks, and that one just got away.
Do you have to down that ball in the end zone?
You don't. He could have picked it up and run it out of the end zone if he wanted to.
But the ball fell flat it fell flat at the rear of the end zone. I thought it was in play. I didn't think it went out.
I think it rolled out, but
Okay,
I could be wrong. I mean, my eyesight isn't that great.
But I'm thinking loose ball. But anyways, they're at their own 20 to start it out. And you had mentioned to me during the break off the air that the coach will talk to the players in some stringent terms, and then he'll leave them alone and let them talk amongst themselves.
Yeah, for the last 2 minutes or so before they go out, he gives them a chance, the captains and the leaders of the team, to talk to the other players. And I think that's a good way to do it because, in the end, it's the players that have to have the enthusiasm. The coaches are going to have the enthusiasm all game. They're going to believe that they can come back, but the kids have to believe it too.
I believe I just saw a Hudson player lift up the DS running back and bring him back to his feet. Gentlemanly play.
I love to see that. And
I do
you
too.
know what? We haven't seen many penalties. We've seen some illegal procedure type penalties, but no personal fouls.
Nope.
And that's great.
No pass interference either.
No pass interference either. And they're doing the same thing on coverage. They've got a man out on Olsen. Now, it looks to me like he could throw a short one to Olsen.
Looking that way. Comes over the middle. Just short of Richards, I think. No, actually it's short of Kiesling.
Yeah. Now, that's the type of pass I think he was trying to throw when he threw the interception in the first half, or at least that's the pattern. Kiesling's running the same pattern. So whether Garrett thought he was going to hook up and he was going to throw it to that spot, or whether he just threw behind him, but that's the same pass pattern that Chris was running in the first half when the ball got picked.
It's a learning experience for a young quarterback, but eventually you got to get out of that mode.
Yeah, that's right. And he's had over a year now. He's a veteran. A whole year playing quarterback. The team is depending on him. He's a captain on the team, so you know that they respect him.
3rd and long. First down pass picked off by the quarterback. Free safety, Jake Attaway, and off he goes inside the 20. Deeks down to the 10, and he's got 1st and goal on the pick. What can't he do?
You know what? They don't have him returning kicks, but if they did, I'm sure he'd do a good job at it. Now, they tried to go to Brian Olsen down the middle, but that's why you got a kid like Attaway in the middle of the field like that. He looks like he's limping a little bit. I hope nothing's – you never want someone to be injured out here. I hope nothing's happened to him.
Well, a lot of times they play quarterbacks at free safety because they usually don't get hit out there. It's a safe position if there is one in football.
Yeah, that's true. And what you do have in high school football is generally your best athlete or one of your best athletes is your quarterback, and you hate to not use him on defense. Mm-hmm. Now, if I was the Hudson coach, I'd give it to somebody else on this particular play just because he's banged up a little bit.
Run to the right. Giorgio weaves inside. Giorgio stood up, blow the whistle, somebody. There we go. And the play stops. I think Giorgio wanted to take off like a rocket and pop over everybody.
I think he did too. Now it's a situation where Dover-Sherborn stopped them down here in the first half. That's the kind of defense they need to play. They got to stop them again. Going down by 4 scores, boy, that really puts a lot of pressure on you.
2nd to go from the 3. They run it with number 6. He's not getting in. And Luge might have picked up a yard down to the 2. So it's 3rd and goal.
Okay, now this obviously isn't criticism of the Hudson coaches. They're doing a great job. They have a winning program and everything. This is when I do like to see the quarterback get under center and be able to sneak. Don't have any gaps in your offensive line. Just have them push ahead. And when you got a guy like Attaway, it's going to be really hard to stop him. But now they're snapping the ball 5 yards deep. It gives Dover-Sherborn an opportunity to come up and make a play.
3rd and goal. Claps his hands twice. Got the ball. Hands it off. They try it again. And they're stopped. Ball carrier is Giorgio. 4th and goal.
This is a big play. If Dover-Sherborn can just come up with a stop here.
Do you stack the line?
Absolutely.
You don't think they're going to pass? There's no way.
They would be crazy to pass. Running outside is something they could do, which putting all your people in the middle is going to. But you got to be weak somewhere. You can't play every position. He's close. Here he goes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is he?
If you noticed, they did move him closer to the line of scrimmage. They didn't put him under center, but they moved him up closer to the line of scrimmage so he wouldn't have to take off. There wouldn't be time to close the holes.
Hadaway with his third touchdown of the game. Be fun to watch him the next couple of years. Maybe not against us, but
that would be good. That would be good.
We have to play him out there, don't we?
Yeah. It's probably
the playoff game doesn't count.
No, it's probably a 2-year contract.
Yeah,
that's what
I would
usually.
think so. They do it all very well. And you may have heard in the background, Hudson has 35 and Dover-Sherborn has 7, and Jake Hadaway has 3 of their touchdowns.
Yeah, this is where you're going to really see if the Dover-Sherborn kids can keep driving, and not quit out here. And that'll be a really great sign for the rest of the season if they continue to play hard. That doesn't mean they're necessarily going to have success on every play or every drive, but it does mean they're going to keep trying. And that's one of the big things with high school football is not to quit out there. And 35-7 is a big hill to climb. So I think what we should be looking for in a lot of ways is, are they still playing hard?
Gal comes into the football. Nice high D kip coming up on the ball. I think it's Richards again. Coming up the middle before he's finally stopped.
Yeah, and he was running hard, and the Dover-Sherborn kids were really trying to block, and I think that's a good sign. And it's a good return. It's not the extraordinary returns they've had so far, but it is a good return.
Let me ask you something, and I'm going to throw this at you. You coached, and you coached young players, right? What ages?
I coached 7 years of varsity football, but I coached 6 years of youth football, every grade from 3rd grade up through 8th grade.
One thing you liked about it, one thing you didn't like about it?
One thing there's O'Leary. It does give him another chance to run with the ball. One thing I liked about it was that you could teach. When I've been talking about tackling here, coaching those young kids, you were the first one who was teaching them how to tackle, and that was important, and that made you feel good. Do it safely. Don't drop your head. Get it across. Use your shoulder pads and wrap, and that was the best thing about youth football. And the worst thing was the parents.
Big surprise, right? No. We'll get to that in a second. I thought you were going to say family time, but that comes into it too. Of course it does. That's automatic. But nice pass downfield to Olsen, overthrown by a lot. He just can't get it to him. So the parents, now we're talking not the last couple of years where it's gotten worse, but back, 7, 8, 10 years ago?
Oh, yes. And the parents love their kids. They want to see them do well, and they don't understand that every player at every age isn't going to be someone who's destined for the NFL. And what they see in their child, which is totally understandable, is a great player who maybe's not getting a chance to catch the ball or not getting a chance to run, and I've put him at offensive guard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, doing what's best for the team. Run to the right side, up to the 45-yard line. I think that was O'Leary again. Yes, it was.
Yeah, and that's a good sign. He had some difficulty holding on to the ball in the first half, but he just ran well for a first down. And Dover-Sherborn's still out there playing hard.
And you may lose this game, but you want to make the score a little bit closer and show you can play football.
Absolutely right. And believe in yourself, and then the next time something goes wrong, like a turnover, you know that's not the end of it. You can still play hard.
Running the ball right hash up to the 35-yard line, 30-yard line.
And I think what's happening here is he did throw the ball, try to go deep to Olsen, But I think right here is Dover-Sherborn saying, listen, we're going to run the ball. We're going to show you that we can be physical out here. And they're not going to just throw the ball all over the field.
They don't use screens much, do they? They did last year.
Yeah, they haven't. They ran one quick screen early in the game. They haven't been running the screen.
Pitch. Jaffe has some speed, but he stopped at the line of scrimmage. No, actually, he stopped at the 50-yard line, so he's close to a first. He's 6 yards away from first down. Okay. You were saying?
Yeah, they haven't been running. But what's been good about that is the way that Hudson's playing, they're not blitzing very much. So the screen passes don't work as well against a team that's not blitzing. If you notice, the 4 guys are rushing. They're trying to put the pressure on. But for the most part, the linebackers, they're trying to play back. So the screen passes are not as successful against a defense like this.
Thank you. Makes total sense. Now, I'm guessing that's Jaffe. I didn't catch the number. I can just tell by the burst of speed he has. That was not Jaffe.
No, I think it was O'Lear, and he's run the ball a lot of times in a row here. Okay, that's a good sign. It's short distance. I'm positive that Steve Ryan's going to go for it here.
O'Lear has some speed.
He does.
When he gets the ball.
He's quick, and even as a freshman, he moved up to about second team as a freshman and was given some chance to play on a pretty darn good team. So he has talent. This is a play, I was talking about it before. 4th and short like this is a play that Steve Ryan loves to run the quarterback sneak on. And it's been very successful over the years running it. One of the best was his son Kirby in doing it. And then the other person who ran for touchdowns out of it was Grady Russo. So I would expect this to be a quarterback sneak.
1 yard to go. They have to get the ball to about the 45, just before it, the 45-yard line. Webb steps back.
Oh, geez. Maybe he's going to throw the ball now.
Defense is shifting on him. The rush coming on. Throws to the right. There's your screen.
Yeah.
And does he have it? Oh,
I
close,
hope so.
But I don't think so.
Oh.
Very close. First down. First down.
All right, good throw, gutsy play.
I was fooled. I thought he pulled the ball into his stomach, which would have put him short, but he actually had it further out.
Yeah, and that was a big play. If they give up the ball there, you're concerned the Hudson's going to go down and make it 42-7, in which case you're not going to come back.
Ball now between the 45 and the 46-yard line on the Hudson side of things from midfield. We look at it, going right to left. Man in motion. Fake pitch. Webb waits. Now he throws a delayed screen or a flare pass to the left.
Yeah, I think that was his safety receiver there. He was looking down the middle of the field and saw that it wasn't open. That was a smart play. You wish the pass had been more on target, but that was smart. He didn't throw the ball down the middle of the field when he didn't have a receiver. So he looked out, made a read, and threw it out wide.
His accuracy has not been spot on tonight.
Yeah, and as the season goes along, hopefully that will change. And I think part of it is they've been taking away his best receiver.
They've really covered well indeed, yeah. Webb, line drive. This time Keesley turns it back upfield, and he's short of a first down, but much closer than he was 9 yards ago. They're about 3rd and 1 or 2, seeing how they spot it.
Getting it back in the same position they were in before.
All right, I was a little bit ahead of the game. 3rd and a long 3, close to 4.
They're in their double slot formation here, but I still think it's probably a running play. Nope.
Intended and caught by Keesley.
I was wrong.
Keesley has the first down. The other thing is, I know he's got other receivers out there. Number 11, John Saber. I don't think he's had a ball thrown to him. So in a way, the defense can play off him and double up on somebody. If you're not going to throw the ball to the kid, why cover him that much?
Well, and that's part of it. And if you look, they're moving Chris Kiesling around and not putting him in the same spot all the time. And that, I think, is to offset that, to get some of those passes out there.
Kiesling on this side of the screen, and Olsen the top side of your screen. Running play straight ahead, Olay and a flag on the play. In the backfield, it appears.
Yeah, now that's the type of play that could be lined up off sides, and it could be on Hudson if they're lined up incorrectly. No, it's illegal procedure.
So that nice play will come back. First and 15 coming up. Easier to say, tough to do. You got to stop shooting yourself in that proverbial foot.
Yeah, and no big penalties as we talked about right after the half, but there have been a number of procedure calls. They're trying to get themselves figured out right here.
Looks like
they've got Brian Olsen in a different spot. I think they're going to try to get him down. Yep, they tried to get it to him. They had Brian Olsen at tight end, and they had him do it down and out. I think they were looking that way, and then he came back to throw it to Kiesling again.
So second down and a pickup of 3. So we're looking at second and a long 12.
And the quarterback is out, and I think that's a smart move.
Especially when you got a little bit of a leg injury. Cramp,
exactly.
Maybe? Could be a cramp.
Yeah, I don't know. It was after a good hit out after his pick there.
It's too valuable to have him injured. Pitch. Jaffe turns it back up at the off-tackle position and got a short gain. He's short of a first down. So it's going to be third and short.
Yeah, and they played Olsen differently that time. They backed off. They didn't play him up tight. So that would have been a good time to throw to Brian and see what he could do. Not a deep pass, but throw it to him for 6 or 7 yards and see if he could break a tackle.
It appears that Olsen is mainly a sideline receiver.
Yeah, and what Steve Ryan tries to do, and it makes sense in a high school situation, is not move the kids around a lot so that they learn their position well and they learn their pass routes well. And that's what they've done with
Webb. Pump fakes. Now he throws it. Got his man open. Out of the hands. Or maybe just deflected off the arm of Saber. Fourth down coming up. Now, when you say that, doesn't that become predictable to the defense?
It does, and it's a trade-off. And if you look at college football in the pros, they definitely don't do it that way. They move their receivers around. But you've got to remember, in high school, the kids are only comprehending so much, and they're only learning so much. You don't have a spring practice and things like that. So I think that's without getting into Coach Ryan's mind, I think that's why he does it. So the kids learn their positions.
So they really don't have a fly receiver.
Well, Emilio Cabe is the guy that they.
Fourth down, turnover and downs.
Yeah. He underthrew that ball. That was the right receiver to throw to. He was far enough down. He would have got a first down. And actually Garrett Webb did a good job stepping up in the pocket away from the rush, but the ball wasn't there.
I'd say maybe he's thrown 2 or 3 deep passes in the game, so it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you know what? I think if the score was closer, it would happen. Now they're just trying to do things that will make them successful out there and things they think will work. And a deep pass is a tough thing to make it work.
Bushy up to midfield almost. I like the way he slides. He's so smooth.
Yeah, he's a good runner. He's a really good runner.
They're going to run the clock down as much as they can.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see the quarterback run the ball that much more, and I'll run Burrow about 55 yards here. But
doesn't need it.
He doesn't need it.
Hudson kids next to us. Yeah, student body. Getting a little bit noisy.
Well, I think they walked off a little disappointed last year in the playoffs, and they're expressing their feelings right now.
Luge straight ahead, close to midfield.
I think that's the last play of the quarter.
Looks
I
like
don't
it.
think Hudson's going to run it off, and it would make zero sense for Dover-Sherborn to call a timeout.
Only one score in this quarter with 8:53 to go by Attaway. He scored to make it 35-7, which is how we enter the fourth quarter.
Now you know you're not coming back to win this game. I don't think there's any question about that. For one reason is you're not moving the ball down the field that quickly, but the other reason is if Hudson gets in trouble, they're just going to run the quarterback 3 times in a row for a first down. So now it's really a test of will. Can you still hang in there and play hard? And we're going to see that in the next 10, 11 minutes of this game till we get down to the kneel down time. And are they tackling? Are they out there? Are they taking people on? And are they tackling? And on offense, are they blocking? Because I think you'll see Coach Ryan run the ball a lot the rest of the game. And you got to say a lot about the Hudson offensive line. They have done a great job.
Attaway was hassled by Olsen in the first quarter. We haven't seen a thing since then, really.
We haven't, and that's one of those things about you getting tired out there. You're playing every down, and you start to get tired. And the other, Brian had to chase him around a lot in the backfield, and that's taking something out of Brian.
Then Brian goes on offense.
Yeah, and he runs down the field a lot. Receiver isn't one of those positions where you're not going to have to do a lot of sprinting.
There's number 24 on your screen. Running play. Dive up the middle. Lost yardage.
Yeah, that's good. They're still playing hard. What a great sign right there. We got some subs coming in there. Some kids that deserve their chance to play, and you know what? They've still got excitement, and they're not exhausted.
I'm looking at Ian Watson, 75. He's a big one as a sophomore, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's great. That's a good sign for the future of the program. It's a good sign, that he's out there playing right now.
But as a trade-off, you're going to lose Rogers at the end of the season, but that's life.
Yeah, that is life, and he's been really good. I remember when he came out as a sophomore, didn't know much about the game, but he learned, and within 1 year, he was starting. And the other thing is, those kids that come out, they usually want to play running back or end. Mm-hmm. He went right to playing a line. That's a tough person right there.
Pass incomplete. Nice defense by John Saber. Number 11, breaking up the pass.
Well, now that's interesting. If you notice, they're running the clock, even though that's an incomplete pass.
Oh, because the score differential.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I agree completely.
We'll see if it's one of those quick kicks that they used last time. And I don't even know if a punt out of that formation. I think it makes sense if you're Hudson.
Why?
You're ahead by 20.
No. Why that formation is not a real punt formation?
I don't know. I don't know on the long downs why. I mean, maybe they feel that they can't protect the punter, but I don't know why you do it. On a short one, it makes sense because it leaves the defense in a position where, are they going to have their quarterback run for 3 or 4 yards? But when it's 4th and 10 like that, I don't know why they would do that. You should be playing it like it's going to be a punt at that point, anyhow.
Maybe they don't have a good punter.
They have the quarterback punting. I don't know. It seemed to get down the field, but it hasn't had a lot of height on it.
I'm thinking to myself, what if he gets tackled on the punt? Flag. 2 flags. I mean, if he gets hit on when he's punting, you're going to lose your quarterback.
Yeah, that's right. God. And that's the one thing that could have stopped him tonight is the quarterback not playing.
The defense jumps, so the Raiders get 5 yards and have 1st and 5. They got to score here just to build some momentum going into the game at Sharon on the 21st.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Bruce. Are they going to move the ball down the field? Now it's 1st and 5. Do they try to throw the ball, or do they try to run the ball? They had success running the ball on the last drive, even though it didn't work out all the way.
Our next game will be back here against Dedham.
So they're playing with a tight end right now, and that's not their usual situation.
Handoff. Jaffe fakes. Nice move. Now he gets tackled after a short pickup.
He made a nice move. He beat the first tackler, but Hudson's still pursuing hard. And they've got some kids out there who haven't been playing much in the game. It's an exciting time for them. They're getting their chance. In practice, they're probably not getting out there. Whereas Dover-Sherborn is still playing their starters. They're trying to do exactly what you said, get some momentum.
So back here the 29th with a live stream against Dedham at 6:30 p.m. In case you can't make the game. Dover-Sherborn here. Back home on the 29th. The jump, he got back. No, they didn't give him that. Now, I question that. He didn't touch anybody. He got back. The ball was not snapped. Why'd they call it?
Yeah, high school football in Massachusetts, it's whether you cross the line of scrimmage on defense.
Even if you get back.
Even if you get back. It's different than pro football, where if you get back and the offense doesn't react to it, it's a penalty.
Hand off to Jaffe, under the right arm, comes to the sideline, and close to a 1st down. He's not out of bounds. Clock's still running. Well, we're on a running clock anyways, the score differential being what it is,
right.
35-7. It is a 1st down, move the chains.
Yep. Now, they've been playing with a tight end the last few plays. They're definitely in a running formation. They're exhausted, but they're still playing hard, and that's an awful good sign. It looks like they're putting in O'Lear.
He's come out, or is he? No, he's going far side, split end.
Yeah.
Wide receiver actually off the line. Split end is Olsen on the line. Left side.
That's the play that's been working
Kiesling
for
caught
him.
the ball, comes back to the middle, trying to work his way up. He's pushed back. He lost about a yard as he came across the field, but still a decent play.
Yeah, a good throw by Webb. The offensive line still protecting him. Kiesling came up limping a little bit because he's taken some good hits there. He delivered a pretty good hit himself, though. I think what we're going to see here is a straight-ahead running play to try to start getting close to that 4 yards.
2nd and 4 from the near hash. Olayer in the backfield next to Webb. Webb has it.
No, they're
2 foot
finally
drop.
throwing.
And Olsen says, I got the football. And he runs down the sideline for the 1st down. He about a 12-yard pickup.
Yeah, that was good. And it's good to see him getting the ball. And that's if for no other reason that you don't want him going the whole game without getting the catch.
Yeah.
And that's good football. That's good coaching. You see what they do best, and you take it away. Now, I don't know how you take away the quarterback, the way he runs and throws the ball. But a split end like Brian, isolating him with a good player and coverage over the top makes sense.
Trips to the left, Saber, Kiesling, and somebody else. Richards. I think somebody might have jumped on offense.
Yeah, defense, 25.
Oh, defense?
Yep, number 25. Now, they've stopped playing the corner safety over the top of Brian Olsen, so you may see a pass in the end zone to him now.
Any reason for that?
I think it's because of the score, frankly. I think that they've said, okay, we don't need to do that anymore. We are going to win this game. We don't have to worry about that he's going to take the game away from us. And if you look over there, they're playing the safety where you normally would against Trips.
Okay, I do see that. to Olsen. Olsen finds a defensive player who bombs him out of bounds. He's still got the football. Brian hands it off to the official. First down, Raiders.
Yeah, and that's great. That's great. Another catch. Garrett Webb's reading the defense. He sees where that safety's move over. He sees he can throw it to Brian Olsen. Brian Olsen took a really hard hit. He didn't quit on it. He got up, threw the ball, got right back to the huddle, showing, hey, you may have gotten a good hit. Your sideline's jumping. It didn't bother me.
Jaffe in the backfield with his quarterback. Fake, left side pass. Looks like it's definitely inside the 10. Second down coming up. They can reach a first down. Looking at the markers. PA says 2nd and 3. Who might argue, especially from our angle.
That's true.
So if they can make it with 6 minutes to go in the game, it's 35-7. They can get double figures. That's a good thing.
That is. Getting themselves back into this and showing that they didn't quit.
Coming around to the right, throwing on the run, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Brian Olsen was his first score of the game, 3rd of the season.
Yeah, that's good. Garrett Webb saw that they weren't covering him the same way they were, and he got the ball to him 3 times, I believe, on that drive.
Yeah, it was 3.
Now, Dover-Sherborn's going for 2 here, and just looking at the score, I'm wondering if they're trying to get under that 14 points. Yeah.
The differential.
The differential. Because if they don't get a 2-pointer here, they'd have to score twice. Oh.
That's not going to work.
No. Little mix-up there on the snap. But that made some sense. I mean, the whole thing isn't about the state playoffs, but you do if you can do something to make it underneath that 14-point differential. That's what you do. Now the question is, 5:39 left, 22-point game. Does Hudson leave their number 1 offense out there?
Good question.
And they're expecting it looks like an onside kick the way they're lined up.
What do you have to lose, right?
You have nothing to lose. If the ball gets, if they recover it, we're not stopping them anyhow. If you've got a 25% chance of getting the ball, that's better than having them out there driving down from the 30 instead of the 50.
If you're not familiar with the onside kick, the ball has to go 10 yards in order for Dover-Sherborn to recover it. If it goes anything less than 10 yards, it's a visitor's ball. That's said well?
It's said perfectly. And what you can tell, they've got a lot of their people with good hands out there ready to try to grab the ball.
Hudson,
so I do think it's going to be an onside kick.
Hudson has a lot of linemen out there up front. That should be the kicking deep.
They went deep.
So much for our theory.
Yeah, exactly.
And a bungle of the ball, and he's got it at his own 10, and he's not going to go much of anywhere.
Good coverage.
7-yard return. 1st and 10 on the return by
they're
Torres.
sending their quarterback back out. That tells me they're keeping their first team out there.
I don't know. I wouldn't do it. 5:31 to go. Clock stopped. I mean, yeah, I understand they're doing it because Attaway's got to get more numbers, but you don't want to see him get hurt. But he doesn't get touched now. He's not getting touched at all.
Yeah, I think he's just going to be handing off. The interesting thing is it looks like they're putting in some substitute linemen. That's always a risky thing. If you're going to keep your skill people out there, you're better off keeping your first line out there with them because that's what's going to get your players hurt.
Well, if your tight end, as we saw, is your backup quarterback, then maybe that's why Attaway's out there because he doesn't have a good backup.
That could be. I got to think it's just that they weren't lined up correctly. I think that they're probably a little surprised on Dover-Sherborn's side that it isn't the second team out there. But it's possible to come back from 22 points down. It doesn't happen very often with 5:31 left.
Weird things happen.
Yes.
Isn't that why they call it sports?
Yeah, absolutely. And they played Hudson played a tough team last week. Clinton has a tradition of great football, and they handled them. They beat them by 2 touchdowns.
Clinton's,
so you knew they had a good team coming in.
I don't remember exactly. Clinton's nickname is the Gauls?
The Gales.
The Gales.
It's Irish.
Irish, okay.
Yeah.
Surprised to see
Gales. Yeah. There's another old Milltown.
Okay,
Clinton.
yeah.
You've got nice falls there and everything.
And the run it is. And
They're still playing hard on defense. Now we got a whole bunch of second teamers coming out there.
You're not kidding. It's like like a shift change. Whoa. Of course, your quarterback's going to stay the same.
No, they're. I
Is
don't
he off?
know. I don't know who 41 is. He doesn't look like he's a.
You know something? It's number 9. It's the kicker, I think. He's got quarterback.
Oh, is he the? Okay.
Gow. I think he's the quarterback. Yeah. No, actually, it's 41. And that was not a good play. 41.
No, Dover-Sherborn's still coming with pressure here.
Christian Andrade is the quarterback for Hudson.
Yeah, he made did a nice job grabbing the snap, but the play still wasn't going anywhere.
Ball, the clock rolling down to 4:20 to go in the contest. As a result, Hudson will be 2-0 in the year, and Dover-Sherborn just the opposite. I see Hudson having a very good year.
I do. They're in a tough league, Midland, but it's still, this is quite a team. Good blocking, really good quarterback, some good running
Good
backs,
coaching.
and good coaching.
Even though the quarterback is the son of the coach, that's just coincidence, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I bet they talk a lot.
I bet they do.
Pass complete to Gow, and he's knocked down. Hudson sideline not too happy about that knockdown, but that's the way it goes on the sideline.
Yeah, I think that they're excited that the backup was able to complete a pass.
Okay.
Now, if I was, I'd punt the ball. Yeah. If
I'm wearing 41 and I'm the backup quarterback, you know he's not going to play very much.
that's true.
The closest number I can think of is Charlie Connolly of the old New York Giants football team wore 42.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, here is here's another Charlie Connolly one. First quarterback ever to play after the age of 40 in the NFL. Charlie Connolly.
Was it really?
Yep, for the Giants, the first time.
Y.A. Tittle was an old one, too.
Yes, he was.
And so was George Blanda.
George Blanda. Now, that was after Charlie Connolly.
Yeah.
But Blanda, I think, played longer than Brady did. I think he was later. I think he was 46.
Didn't he
47.
stay on as a kicker?
He did.
Yes.
But he was the backup quarterback for the Raiders. There was one season where he came on a couple times for Darryl LaMonica and bailed the Raiders out. But his main position at the end there was kicker.
Mm-hmm, and he was good.
He was.
I like them days.
I do too.
Yeah, different football. So we're looking at, if you're wondering, 4th down and a punt, maybe. There you go with that pooch punt. That's going not much of anywhere. Nice bounce for Hudson, but DS will have the ball with a chance for a score. Nice roll to the 31.
It turned out to be a long.
No, okay, you stop flapping your hands. It's not going any further.
That's right.
Cute. What's that shuffleboard they do then in?
Oh no!
The one with the brooms.
It's not shuffleboard.
Not shuffleboard.
Curling or
curling?
Curling.
Hurling's a whole different thing.
Absolutely.
Curling.
There's
Also,
another Irish thing.
You'll see an infielder when a little bunts along the foul line. He's trying to wave it foul.
Yeah.
Breathe on it. 3:22 to go in the contest. Let's see how this goes now. They got a bunch of fresh white shirts out there for Hudson. And Webb stays over center this time at quarterback. I think they're just going to run some plays.
Yep, they're running the ball up the
Olea
middle.
straight ahead. Nice pickup. Short, about 4 yards.
And they're still blocking out there. They're doing a good job there. Now, it looks to me like Hudson's got their backups in on the defensive line, but still keeping their linebackers and defensive backs pretty much the guys who started the game.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the numbers out there. You're right, yeah.
The way Dover-Sherborn's been playing, you wouldn't be surprised to see him put up the ball up.
Olea goes left side around end. Turns it upfield for a couple. Third and about 4 maybe, depending on that spot. Maybe 5. Third and almost 6 actually on the spotting.
So you hear a lot of enthusiasm on the Hudson sideline, and that's because some kids are getting in the game who haven't had a chance to get out there and play, have probably been playing on the JV team, and now they're getting their shot on defense.
And I think that's great that they cheer each other on.
I do too. I do too.
Webb loses the ball and falls on it. So I guess you go for it.
Let's see what Steve Ryan is going to do in this point. It looks like he's going to punt the ball.
Okay.
I think if it was a 2-score game, you'd be seeing him go for it. I think with 3 scores, he's just punting the ball out of there. It looks like Jaffe is a little beat up there. He's walking to the sidelines. They put somebody else in there.
I know Jaffe was hurt during the week of practice, so that may be part of that too. Webb kicks the ball into the hands of the speedster. Look at him come around this way. Number 14, that is Muse. Nice run. He's finally hog-tied to the ground, and the ball's loose, fallen on by a Raider, I think.
Yeah, it's a Dover-Sherborn ball.
Certainly is.
Yep, and you know that's what hustle is. He had them beat. He was coming down the sidelines. They didn't quit. They kept going after him, and they caused a turnover. Now Dover-Sherborn's got the ball back.
So I guess that's a nice punt.
That's right. Any time you punt and you get the ball back, I'm going to say that's a positive play.
So now you have a much better chance to score. Ball's in the 46, 102, otherwise known as 62 seconds, to go in the game, and you can just put it downfield and go for it.
And we're going to see the way they're going to do this. I would think if they had gotten that 2-point conversion, they'd definitely be throwing the ball down the field.
You're not sure now?
I'm not sure now, just because of the score, and it's not going to matter in the outcome of the game.
Well, of course not. They're handing off. Olea straight ahead, turns it into the 50. So why is Olsen still out there if they're not going to pass?
Well, here they got a few new players coming in.
Olsen's coming off.
And Olsen's coming off.
That answers that.
Yeah, it does.
45 seconds.
Yeah. So they'll run one more play. Yeah. With the new players they put in there, I hope they don't down it to get these kids a chance to feel like they've done something. Throw a block out there.
New quarterback. I'm guessing Ronan Sullivan. Nope. Who's the quarterback?
I think it's still Garrett.
It's still Webb. Okay, Webb's staying in there. Down to 23 seconds. This will be it. He just bucks it ahead, and that'll do it. Nice game by Hudson. Yeah. Valiant effort by Dover-Sherborn.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the score at halftime was 28-7. It's essentially one score for each team in the second half. I know Hudson wasn't playing to score really in the second half, but Dover-Sherborn didn't give up, and that's a good sign for them. It's a long season. This isn't even a league game.
Right.
You can lose a couple games and still make the playoffs. So I think there's some positive things. The offense looked good. There's some things to work on, like their tackling, but they're not going to play against a guy that they have to tackle like this in the future.
they'll have nightmares of Jake Attaway over the weekend.
That's true. And they've got an extra day for the weekend for the nightmares.
True. Very true. So we'll wrap it up here. Dan Bennett, Bruce Glazer, Brad and Cam Crandall, and the Hussar kid, Sebastian, over there somewhere. We thank you for watching our live stream and cablecast of Dover-Sherborn football. Final score, Dover-Sherborn losing to Hudson 35-7. Until next time,
13.
So long, everyone. 35-13.
Sorry.
Thanks for that. I needed it. 35-13. Until next time, so long, everyone.